Hi everybody. In this video we are going to open a door and we're going to fix a little error that I think happened in the last video. So now that the character can pick up the key, we have to make a door for them to open. The series of actions we're going to do are, if the character doesn't have the key, they'll get a message that says you need the key. If the character does have the key, the door will vanish and they'll get the message you opened the door. And this is the space that we'll work in, so we'll put our door in that space. And first of all, let's check check something on your first person BP. This is something I think we may have not finished the other day. So we got all our inventory widgets up. I'm going to compile, save, and the key. Okay, it was on the key. So remove all widgets. If we didn't finish this, let's go ahead and finish this. So we want to construct our message that you found the key. Okay, and then send it to the viewport. So that's left click, drag out, add to viewport, not send. And then we destroy the actor. So let's compile that and save it. And now let's just test to make sure that we're back to where we are. So here we are. We're adventuring. I click on I. My inventory is empty, but I see a key. There's text on the key for that looks at us when we go around. And when I get close enough to the key, I get a message that says I found the key. Now, if I click I, it shows me the key and a little bit of text that describes what it is. Okay, so now we have to use the key to open this door. So under Content, under My Objects, let's go ahead and we're going to create a door. So delete the previous effort. Right-click, Blueprint Class, Actor, and we're going to call this AAA Door, and we're only using the AAA to make it easier to search for. I'm going to double click on this and we're going to create a door. We're going to add a component. I'm going to add a cube, and I'm going to call this door mesh. And so essentially what's happening here is we're going to make this door out of two things. We're going to make an interactive, something that looks like a door, and then we're going to be adding a box collider, and we'll make it interactive. So we've added our door mesh. I'm going to put the scale in. I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to make a window out of this. I'm going to take our door, put it in the world, move it, roughly into place, and get a good view. And I'm going to adjust it this way. So in green direction, let's go up to 4. Okay, and let's see, does that fill the space? In red direction, let's go to 0.3. So that's how thin it is. And now in blue direction, let's make that 4 as well. All right, now let's screw and go out a little bit. Okay, so it's a little bit big in green direction. I'm looking at this widget. In green direction, I'm going to go to 3.6. I'm going to go to 3.2. No. See, I just typed it in wrong. 3.2. It's a little bit scary, but just a slip of the finger. And it looks like there's a little space there. So I'm going to move it a little tiny bit. And I'll fix that later. And I think I want this to be smaller. So that door is definitely too tall. So in blue direction, it shouldn't be 4. I'm going to take it right down to 2.8. Let's bring that down. And that's good. I don't want to run it right down low in case I have a lower level down there in my maze. And so that would mean that the door would be running through the ceiling down into the floor. So, okay, so now let's go ahead and let's work a little bit more on this. I'm going to compile, I'm going to save. And now let's put some kind of texture on the door. So over here under materials, basic shape material, let's give it a texture of some sort. Maybe it's a wood door. We have a wood texture, planks with bolts. Okay. This is good that we're seeing this. This checkerboard, that's not planks with bolts. That simply means that the shaders are compiling. So see, it took a moment, and now we have some kind of representation of planks with bolts. And I think that I like this a little bit better, rotated this way. Now I'm going to leave it, compile and save. And so now if we go back and we look at it, we see that we've got a plank and bolt entity there. All right, so now we have to add that's the physical component. Let's add the interactive component. So under Add Components, I'm going to put COLL to give us choices in collision. We use a box collision, and I'm going to make sure that it's attached to the default scene root. Now, if you notice, there, I'm going to drop here. I'm going to attach. So this is something that you'll notice that you'll have to notice. If you accidentally do that and drop it on and make it a child of another object, it acquires these objects' characteristics, so it's immediately scaled by that. So I messed this up. This should have come in 1, 1, 1. So I have two things to do here. I could remove it and then add it again, or I can simply go through, because this is what I'm going to do anyways, adjust the scale. And let's have a look. So I would like to go, let's see where the door mesh is. So I will go to the door mesh. 3.2, 2.8 look like magic numbers. So that's, let me just make sure. 3.2 and 2.8 are magic numbers. So for Y, that's 3.2. And I'm tabbing to go in between these things, 2.8. So those are magic numbers. And because that's our proportion. And 0.3 is the scene root messed up? No, okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and make this at least something like that, so that you can really run into it. Maybe not quite that much. That's possibly enough. And of course, you can always change these values with the widgets. So I can change size here. Let me select that, scale it out, scale it up, compile, and save. So now when we look in our world outliner, we see that the box is now there because we've updated the door. So now let's go back to our door and let's do a couple of things. We're going to add a collision node. So there's a few ways to do this. The box is selected. We could do on-component begin overlap. So this brings in an on-component begin overlap. So the other way is to right-click with this component selected and then add an event on component begin overlap. So on our component begin overlap, what we're going to do is check to see if the player character has the key. And if they do have the key, then we're going to be able to destroy the door. So I'm going to compile and save just to get started. And let us cast to first person character. The person that, since it's impossible for another character to have the key, we don't really need to make a check here. But that's something else that would be a matter of taste in terms of designing this piece of software. So we're going to cast the first person character. We do need to get the player character, get player character. Because we're doing a first-person adventure, we take for granted the idea that you can have an adventure that has multiple characters. So what you want is a node that says, in my first person adventure, cast to the only character that I have. But that's not the way Unreal is set up. Unreal is set up so that you can have multiple characters. And so in this case, you could cast to any first person character, including the player character or another player character. In fact, the player index is right there. So we happen to be one player of potentially many in our first person one character game. Okay, and so now let's go ahead and we're going to check to see if the character has the key. So as the first person character, let's get, our code is AAA, so it makes it easy to search. If we've got the key, then if that's true, so let's branch. So if we've got the key, if that condition is true, then we want to open the door. And if the condition is false, we want to give a message that says you need the key. So let's do the false first. I click off that. I'm going to create a widget. I'm going to select a class here, and the door is locked. That was the widget we created. Let's send it to the viewport. So let's click on that, click Add to Viewport. And that message will turn itself off. Okay, so now we say the door is locked and there's no way to open it. Let's check to make sure that we get that message. So we're running up on the door is locked. Go back, the door is locked. Okay, and now back into the door. What we want to do is we want to be able to use the key on the door. So just to be clear, we haven't done that yet. So here we go. The door is locked. Aha, there's a key. We found the key. I click I, and it shows me the key in the inventory here over in the lower left-hand corner. And I will click I again to remove that. We move to the door. It's still locked. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's fix that. And so we're all going to be in the door. And so now, if the condition is true, if the player has the key, the first person blueprint has the key, that is true, then we want to create a message. So let's go ahead and let's copy and paste this. So that's copy, Control V to paste. So if that's true, we will send the message that they opened the door, where you use the key, add that to the viewport, and we're going to destroy actor. And we're going to destroy ourselves, just like eliminating the key, we're going to destroy the door. Okay, so let's have a look and see if we did it. Alt P to play. There's the door. The door is locked. The door is locked. There's a key. We acquire the key. I press I, we see we have a key in the inventory. We go to the door and we use the key. We made it through to this treasure right here. Okay, so that is the magic trick behind adventure games. The first adventure games didn't even have characters. A lot of the games that you folks love are action adventure games or puzzle adventure games or simulations or things like that. But the basic adventure game, which is not based on the idea of adventure, but based on the name of an actual computer game called Adventure, there were no characters. And even in the second major one, Zork, there was only one character. It was a thief, and you couldn't talk to it. It simply stole your stuff. So you can technically, at this point, make an adventure game. So we'll have another video of enhancements, But this is the basic trick behind making your first adventure. And thank you very much for watching. Okay, take care. Bye bye.